What's goody, everybody? My name is Kalitri, and welcome to the very first episode of our brand new show, Quick Sketch. For the moments when you have an idea, but you don't have enough time to draw the whole thing, just a quick sketch. This show will run parallel with my other show on the channel, Creating Your First Masterpiece, link in the description if you haven't seen the first episode. And this will provide supplemental, almost education, or I guess deeper understanding of more nuanced topics of what we're about to get into. For example, today's supplementation will be about dream life identification. I'm not sure if it'll be either before the video it's supposed to support or after. I guess we'll just figure that out as we go along. If you're new here, thank you for being here. I hope you enjoy the video. And if you're returning, welcome back. So let's get into it. Today, we will be talking about dream life identification. So, of course, as usual, what is dream life identification? To put it simply, I'd describe it as being in touch with your desires, even the ones society tells you you shouldn't be. But we'll get into that a little bit later. Now, a couple things to remember. Firstly, for those of you who have never heard the saying, put it out into the world, this is a more modern, practical way of manifestation per se. So first off, you have to know what you want. Now, for those of you who don't manifest or don't put it out into the world, the number one thing we have to start with is that you have to be specific. You have to know exactly what you want. I won't get into too much detail now because I think it'll have its own episode in the future, but surrounded by us, we are all surrounded by energy and frequency, and we're all vibrating at certain frequencies. So you always need to be trying to match the frequency with that of what you want. Again, more so of just believing and convincing yourself you already have it, which will align yourself with the future version of yourself that already has it. You know what I mean? Another thing is the mind can't differentiate between good or bad things. It only focuses on what you feed it, which is why we have one of the slogans on our show that goes, "You are what you eat, so digest something good." You would always want to be putting good things in your brain, both in your brain and in your body, so that way you respond and you're always pumping at your best. But for sake of this video, we're actually going to focus on the other channel saying we have. If you can see it in your mind, you can see it in real life. And that's the part we're going to get into today. So in order to eventually obtain your dream life, or really just any goals in your life at that point, you really only need two things: vision and persistence. Today, we are talking about the vision. Now, do you remember earlier when we were talking about how you need to know exactly what you want? Well, we're going to get a little bit more into that here. You see, in order to obtain what you want, you have to know exactly what you want. And so for the case of our example, we're talking about our dream life, which means you need to know when you're going to wake up, when you're going to go to sleep, what are you going to do throughout the day? What's your daily routine? What are you going to eat? When are you going to eat it? How are you going to eat it? What type of work you're going to do? How much is this work going to pay you? What type of lifestyle is this income supporting? Like, you really need to have a clear idea of what you want exactly. This isn't as easy as just saying, oh, I want to become a content creator in my thing. Or if it's you and if you want to become a professional snowboarder who helps save chinchillas in the rainforest, you can't just be like, I'm going to be a snowboarder who helps chinchillas in the rainforest. No, you need to say things like, I'm going to be a professional snowboarder in this state or country by this time doing this, and then on the side, all of my career earnings will go towards saving chinchillas in this forest and this. Like, you needed to be specific. The reason we needed to be specific is, again, twofold. One, we need to be specific because the universe won't respond to generalities and generic things, but also you need that specific vision for when you're grinding. I mean, be honest. None of us, or let's rephrase it this way, all of us have things we don't want to do, but if they're important, we end up doing them. Now, notice what I said there, if they're important. Sometimes you do just do things because you have to do them, but then again, you have to do them because most of the time, whatever the tiny little work you're trying to do, or whatever the uncomfortableness of whatever the task is, obviously it's worth it because you're doing it to justify a means to an end, which is greater than what you're doing. It's the same thing here. Do you really think if you're getting up every day learning your snowboard reps and trying to glide down this mountain and do this and do that, do you really think there aren't going to be days when you don't want to do it? And this is also where it comes important into what is the story you tell yourself when you do these things. Or at least if you're laying there in the bed, you laying there with your eyes closed, not wanting to get up, going, oh man, but I want to be a professional snowboarder someday. Sure, that might get you out of bed, but we need to be tapping more into the emotional and the psychological of we need to get into it. We need to do it every day of like, I'm doing this for my partner so their kids can do this and this and this. Like, it needs to be specific. The example I have in the script, actually, it's kind of funny. It goes instead of saying for me, because the original analogy was the influencer instead of a snowboarder. So in the script, it actually goes, so when it gets hard, don't say this is for the influencer lifestyle. Instead, you should say this is for my family, my pink Bugatti, the best Danish in the world in the morning, every morning, no exception. Did you hear the conviction in those statements? Like, you truly need to remind yourself what you're going for. Like, not just for your family, but for your mom, or like not just for the team, for your coach. You know what I mean? It needs to get very specific. Now, to circle back, we talked a little bit about those desires, and more importantly, the desires society may not want you to have, or like the quote unquote taboo desires. It was a little bit light before, but this is where we'll really dive into it now. Firstly, being an artist is not easy. It's a very thin line you have to ride between not caring what people think enough to produce your best art at all times, regardless of the vision. Like, don't tell people, or don't let people tell you your vision is crazy, but also another mix of you need and you want people to like your stuff. You know, as an artist, as weird as it is to say, like, validation, people liking your art, supporting your art, that is how you get paid. So it does create an interesting dichotomy of you kind of got to listen to what your fans want as you're building them in your community, but you also kind of need to remain true to your own way and pursue your own vision. Tough and never an easy decision, or it's very easier to keep that in mind than to always do in practice. But again, the point is, the easiest way to get over those types of feelings and things is to live your life exactly how you want it, how you have it planned, exactly how you decided to make your life, because then that eliminates the need for outside noise and external distractions. So for example, in the last point, I was talking about the Danish every morning, and this is something I feel like a lot of my younger audience will represent. You know, I don't really know who's watching. If you're a little bit older, you might not get it, but for like people around my age or a little bit younger, there's something we hear a lot. The one we mainly hear, for example, would be the coffee example, the $6 coffee. My younger folk might not know who this is, but if y'all know who Dave Ramsey is, he's like the CEO of telling us young folks the reason you don't have a house and a car is because you buy coffee 3 times a week. And I mean, sure, maybe, but we'll save this for another video. But I think there are way bigger systemic issues of why young people don't have access to the same wealth that the older audience might have, or at least people like Dave Ramsey and you know, those types of things. Let's keep it with the Danish. Like I said, and I mentioned in the last one, it's the Danish. And one of the things you need to be thinking, I want to bring up a specific example. We'll stick with the Danish that we brought up earlier, where in the previous point, I talked about how you need to be going for your pink Bugatti and your family and the best Danish in the world every morning, no exception. Now, I know some of the old people were like, whoa, you want to get a Danish every day, the best Danish? I'm sure that has to be expensive. I'm sure that costs money. Shouldn't you be using that money and everything else? And that's the nuanced discussion that when you try to do things like this, especially when it comes to money is always important. But like my mom say, don't be pocket watching. But that's neither here nor there. I'm sure when I talked about getting the most expensive Danish in the world, some people were like, why would you pay for that? To those people, I have one thing to say. Good thing I want the Danish in this example and not you. Because as a quick tidbit, value is only subjective to the person who pays it. If you think it's expensive, that's fine. It's not worth it to you. But to me, it is. That's why I pay for it. And in the sense of like, I want to make enough money in this example, very compressed example. In this example, I want to make enough money to get this Danish every day. Like, I know the one thing that gets me out of bed to do whatever it is that's leading me to the lifestyle I'm trying to build, I want this Danish every day. Like, you can't say, you have to, even if you don't get it every day, again, it's all about mindset. You have to operate under the fact that like, you will have enough money to buy this Danish every day. Like, the Sunday of the week before, you're already ordering 7 Danishes, bro. 1 for every day, and you pick it up every morning. Like, that's the type of thing we need, and I think is good to have. Now, the reason I bring up the Danish example is, one, to parallel it with the coffee, but again, it's that it's really up to you. The main point I want to try and drill home is that the point of dream life identification is that you need to make it what is tailored to you, to your life. And as an example, I'll actually give my dream life at the end of this. So with all that being said, just remember, you need to be crafting your life to your vision, and there's a lot of intricate balances of things that go together in terms of validation, wanting your art to get out, and then also just understanding the power of seeing something in your mind and then seeing it in real life. If you've watched the second channel, slight plug, KJ aka, you would see in the kitchen I talk a lot about seeing it in my mind, because when I first moved into my apartment, my kitchen didn't look like this, but now it does. But truthfully, it's because I saw my kitchen looking the way it does like now, and I didn't stop until I was able to find exactly what I wanted to get it. Firstly, if you're still here, thank you for watching to the end. I know this is a little bit of a different video, and of course some of this won't even make sense until I create the main video, but again, this is supplementation. So this is just extra knowledge that will help you on your journey. And I hope you find this exciting and as interesting as I do. Please be sure to hit that subscribe if you are enjoying, and join the community, because we are the architectural artists, those who are using our art to craft our life to the way we desire. In the last segment, I said I would recap and give my example of my dream life before we wrap the whole video. So I'll do that example right now. Well, number one, my main goal, my main goal with this art is to never work a 9-to-5 again. I have no resentment for those people, but again, whole point of dream life is about me. I don't want to have a boss. I've never liked having a boss. Most of the times I've had a boss, my number one pet peeve in life, short-sighted, 2 pet peeves. Number one, unnecessary gossip. 2, incompetent leaders. So that's what fuels me to create my dream life. So I want to be working for myself. I'd like to, specifically, I'd love to live in Colorado. They get all 4 seasons. It's not that cold, or it's colder near the mountains in the winter, but it snows, but it's not too bad. I'd love to wake up every morning and get coffee, and I'd love to go to a local coffee shop and get a nice coffee, maybe go to the library, take some time and work on the script. Specifically, I'd like to wake up at maybe 8 a.m., maybe 7. I'd like to wake up early, get all my work for the done day. Maybe I wake up, get my coffee, do a little meditation, journal, reading, prep for the day from about 8:30 to 11:30, maybe 12. That's when I'm doing my work. That's when I'd be doing this, scripting and writing and blocking and all those other things. And I would do that for 4 hours in a day. And then I'd be done. I'd be done with my work. I could send it to my team of editors that I plan on having, or I can bounce it out with my meeting group. I can take calls, do those sorts of things. And then after that, the day is mine. I'd like to choose it by spending some time gardening. I'd like to spend some time reading, of course, spending some time with my partner who's gonna be with me, because come on now, bro. Y'all know me. If you know me in real life, you know what I'm saying. But yes, I don't have my Danish per se, but I'd love, my particular Danish would be the ability to try different things every single day. And where I live now, there's not a lot of variety, but where I want to go, I can't even imagine the variety because I haven't even been there. But just looking on the website, when I type in food near me, thousands of results, thousands and thousands and thousands of results, bro. That's what I like to see. Those are the things I'm hunting for in my dream life. New experiences every day, no boss, full autonomy of my time, location, freedom, and daily to-do list. Those are the things that drive me and push me towards my thing. You know what I mean? I want my double shot, my triple shot espresso white chocolate mocha latte every morning with the apple fritter. You know what I mean? A peach fritter even. Those are the specific things I want. I want them every day. I don't want nobody, I want to be able to walk in there and Apple Pay and just buy stuff, bro. Buy the things I know I have. And this is why I do the things I do. Part of that includes staying healthy, getting health right, all of those things. And so you can see, to kind of start bringing it back towards the original point of the video, when you have the vision, it makes it a lot easier to see where you're going. I feel you don't really pay attention too much to the steps and the hurdles and the bumps along the way when you're focused on where you're going. So now that we've established what mine looks like, and now that you understand why I do what I do and truly what motivates me, now that's my dream life, my intrinsic motivations. We'll get into that in another video, but those things don't have to be mutually exclusive, but they can be. I love speaking and being outside and food and all of those things, and this is where we get into the money as a resource. You need money to do those things. I live in this apartment. I don't live in here for free. My landlord ain't just yo, I like you, cut, you could chill. No, I need money. You know what I mean? And that's the inescapable truth of today's time. But that'll lead into another thing. So let's wrap the video. Today, we've talked about how to identify your dream life, more specifically, how you need to be specific, you need to know what you want, and you need to know when you're going to get it. We've dabbled into how specifics can help you with the vision, and how really you only need two things, vision and persistence. And we've even examined the intricacies and interactions between you having a specific vision versus a general vision. Of course, specific meaning it'll give you more motivation because you know exactly what you want. And if it's general, it's way easier to brush it off and just be like, oh, well, I'll get it eventually or one day, and it just doesn't mean as much. We will get more into a lot of these things. Like I said, these are all supplemental. They'll make sense as the main series progresses because eventually they'll all get their own videos, and then we'll have supplemental videos to go with them. For the time being, remember to craft your vision the way you want it to be. Make it specific, make it actionable, make it timely, and make it yours. Like, don't make it what you think it should be. Don't think it what society is like driving you towards. Don't make it what you think your parents think it should be. Don't make it think what your partner thinks it should be. You need to take some time, soul search, identify what type of life you want to have, that you would want to have forever, or at least for the time being. What life you would want compared to the life you have now, and go after it. Truthfully, that's the main point I feel like we should bring home and end on. Make it yours. Make it specific, make it something you love. That's all I've got for y'all today. This will probably come out I'm recording this on a Monday. This might come out Tuesday or Wednesday. I don't know which one will hit first, either this video or the actual Dream Life video itself on the creating your first fast dreams. But I guess that means y'all just have to subscribe. Hit that like button down below, leave a comment. Be sure to ask any questions if I felt like it was a little too complex, or if anything, you know, I might just turn your comment into a video. You know what I mean? All of these things are very nuanced, interesting. I love talking about them. So if you want to hear more about it, let me know. But that's gonna do it for me. And yeah, remember, it's not about your trajectory, it's about your projection. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.